I get it scrolling through endless kitchen appliance listings. You see a glossy photo of a sleek, stainless steel range that promises restaurant-grade performance, and you start picturing yourself plating a perfect steak. Then the box arrives. You hook it up, and the reality is a bit underwhelming. Uneven heating, a cramped oven, or a cooktop that just looks good but doesn't actually make your cooking easier. That's the exact frustration I've heard from a lot of people who jump on the first professional range they see. And it's why I wanted to break down the ZLINE 36-inch Paramount Induction range before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about why an induction range is such a different beast compared to a traditional gas or electric model. Induction uses magnetic fields to heat the pan directly, which means you get instant temperature changes, no preheat lag, and a surface that stays relatively cool. That sounds great on paper, but it also comes with a few practical trade-offs. You need cookware that's magnetic, you'll need a dedicated 240-volt circuit, and there's a learning curve to mastering the precise power settings. If you've never used induction before, the first week can feel like you're playing a video game with too many buttons. The ZLINE Paramount series positions itself as a professional line for home chefs, and the 36-inch model tries to hit that sweet spot between size and performance. The cooktop features 5 separate heating zones, ranging from a tiny 3-inch element perfect for a small saucepan to a massive 12-inch zone that can accommodate a 12-inch skillet or a griddle. The real trick is the bridge zone between the two largest elements. It's a seamless surface that lets you place a 15-inch wok or a large roasting pan and still get even heat across the whole area. In my kitchen, that bridge made it possible to sear a whole chicken in a single pan and then finish it in the oven without having to shuffle cookware around. Speaking of the oven, the convection system is a standard fan-assisted design, but ZLINE adds a horizon window that's slightly angled, reducing glare and giving you a clearer view of what's happening inside. When I was baking a batch of croissants, I could actually see the rise without opening the door, which helped maintain a steady temperature. The 5.2 cubic foot capacity is a decent middle ground, big enough for a 12-inch sheet pan or a couple of casseroles, but it won't replace a commercial-size workhorse if you regularly feed a crowd of 10 or more. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of everyday use. One of the most praised features on paper is the anti-scratch glass surface. ZLINE claims a 7.5 Mohs hardness rating, which is about the same as a kitchen knife blade. In practice, that means the surface held up well after I dropped a metal spatula a few times and even survived a few accidental scratches from my stainless steel ladle. The anti-glare matte finish also helped keep the stovetop looking clean under bright kitchen lighting, no annoying reflections when you're trying to watch a pot boil. However, there are a couple of practical downsides that matter once the excitement fades. The first is the requirement for compatible cookware. If you have a collection of aluminum or copper pots that aren't magnetized, you'll need to invest in new pans or a set of induction-ready cookware. That's an added cost that often catches buyers off guard. Second, the power draw is significant. The range needs a dedicated 50-amp circuit, which means you'll likely have to call an electrician if your kitchen isn't already wired for it. I found that the installation cost added a few $100s to the overall price tag, turning what looks like a $2,500 appliance into a $3,000 project. So who should actually consider the ZLINE Paramount Induction range? If you're a home cook who loves precision, think caramelizing onions at exactly 300 F, whipping up a delicate sauce that can't afford a hot spot, or achieving a perfect sear on a steak without the flare-ups of gas, this range gives you that level of control. It also makes sense for anyone who values a sleek, low-maintenance surface. The glass stays cool enough that spills don't bake onto it, and cleaning is just a quick wipe down. Families that do a lot of oven cooking, like batch roasting vegetables or baking multiple trays of cookies, will appreciate the convection airflow and the decent interior volume. On the flip side, if you're renting and can't modify the electrical wiring, this isn't the best choice. The same goes for cooks who are comfortable with gas and don't want to overhaul their cookware. If you primarily use the stove for simple tasks like boiling pasta or reheating leftovers, the high price and installation requirements may not justify the benefits. Also, if you entertain large groups on a regular basis, you might find the oven's capacity a bit limiting compared to a true commercial-grade range. Let's talk about value. The headline specs 5 flexible zones, A.